Alright, frick you, no more intro. Okay, you guys wanna know what I'm here for. You all saw what it is, and yes, the new Rayman game, it is out, and it looks... Well, it looks alright, but the gameplay actually looks pretty good. I can't believe what they're actually doing right now, and you obviously know what's going on, and I wanted to make this video as soon as possible. The new Rayman game honestly looks very interesting in my opinion. Okay, look, so if it isn't obvious, and it probably should be, I am literally the biggest Rayman fan ever, and I honestly adore almost every Rayman game that's come out. Even this game, I even like this game, despite the fact some of the drawbacks it had. I honestly do like almost any Rayman game that does come out, because like almost any of them honestly end up much better than they are. Rayman is just that thing that where you have to make it pixel perfect right, and if you don't, it's shit. If you want to know my quick rundown about what I think about all the Rayman games, the first Rayman game is an alright game, but it's like super fucking difficult. Rayman 2 is a pretty good game, but I do think some of the things it does drowns out and it gets really boring later on. Rayman 3 is the all-time best one, and it's probably my favorite Rayman game out of all of them. Rayman Origins is really good, and Rayman Legends, I feel like a lot of people say Rayman Legends is better, but I feel like they're both on the same level. Okay, now you basically catch up to speed about what I thought about most of the Rayman games. Though the best Rayman game is Rayman Card. And who could forget that 30th anniversary bundle that came out, which was just nothing but fucking kazoo noises. Oh my god, when I first saw that 30th anniversary thing and it just came out immediately the time it was announced, I knew there was something kind of wrong, and I was right. There was something kind of wrong. I feel like there was many messed up things about it, and the music, since there was like due to copyright issues and all this etc stuff that I'm not gonna get into, it kind of felt like the 30th anniversary thing was kind of a letdown. And yeah, it was right, it was kind of a letdown. They did have all these new features and all these behind the scenes stuff of how Rayman Legends was to be, and all these new scripts of the previous Rayman game, but it honestly isn't that much, and it honestly was not much of what I was expecting. You could obviously tell though that this thing was messed up when they used the fucking Rayman Advanced sprite to show you the meaning of the thing. Though I did hear the Jaguar version had better music and was honestly much more better overall, so I could be wrong over this. But I still think the original game itself is kind of a letdown and is honestly not what you should play. Besides, we already have Rayman Redemption. Since the early 2020s, like before Mario plus Rabbids, Rayman Redemption was kind of holding the balance of what I wanted out of Rayman and basically what I wanted to. It kind of just felt like a Rayman game that was already existed and was a Far Cry with basically what happened. Especially knowing the fact that they didn't do anything for Rayman's 25th anniversary, so it was kind of the only thing we were being fed for Rayman. But ever since Mario plus Rabbids, you and I have both been noticing it, but ever since then, Ubisoft has been marketing the hell out of Rayman. I feel like it's ever since all their media backfired, them laying off multiple workers and losing a ton of money, it's like their last resource, and this honestly couldn't be any better. They've been using Rayman non-stop, and I honestly kind of like it. He's in that weird Roblox Rabbids game, Captain Laserhawk, and on a ton of other stuff too. They've been using him on his Twitter too, like they've been using it non-stop, so they're obviously begging on Rayman now. Which is honestly kind of what you get, honestly, for backfiring, for getting so much Assassin's Creed shit, honestly. With the release of this thing, though, I'm not excited as I was with the Mario plus Rabbids thing. I wish I recorded more, honestly. You would have seen my reaction to that. I would have been much more hyped, but I am still excited for what is out, honestly. But there is kind of one problem. I do think this took way too long. Honestly, let's just get the top down. Obviously, to anyone who doesn't know why they decided to do Rayman Legends instead of any other Rayman game, they obviously did Rayman Legends because every other game has probably been remade in the point. But also, that's also one of my complaints with this game. I feel like this honestly took way too long than it should have had. Obviously, I shouldn't be complaining. We obviously got a game now, but I'm not as excited as I was earlier though when Rayman got announced for Mario plus Rabbids, because at least I was still hyped for the idea of a Rayman game, but not as much now, judging how things have changed now, honestly. Like, come on, think about it. We've gotten so many fan games, fan remakes, fan interpretations, fan animations, and even a fan comic that I was supposed to make, but let's not talk about me and my heady past. That was only like a year ago. I do still think though that this took way much longer than it should have, but I honestly do understand because it is the craftsmanships that count, and honestly, they needed to take as long as they needed to, but yeah, I'm honestly don't mind. One thing I do want to explain was that this game got fucking leaked, and when it did get leaked, everyone thought it was AI generated. Yeah, I don't blame them. I do think there's a lot of stuff that do feel AI generated when you look at this thing firstly, but it's honestly not, and it honestly makes more sense now that I think about it. There were other things I got leaked too, such as the skin costume for Super Rayman. Oh my god, if they make Super Rayman canon now, that's honestly to be the best thing ever. They put it in Brawlhalla first, and I thought that was pretty cool with the smooth animation. Oh my god, but now that it's canon, I'm honestly willing to accept that. They also added newer skins too, which is like, holy shit. I didn't think they were gonna go all out as much as they needed to, but that is so interesting that they did. By the way, I just want to say this now, but this was like the second thing to be released when the State of Play happened. It was just like freaking Whiplash, and I already knew it was coming in though, judging by all the leaks, and now that has honestly happened, I don't mind it. Okay, firstly though, we gotta talk about how this game looks visually. It's not bad, but it looks a little too realistic. In fact, it looks a little too something similar to something I just seen before. It looks like that weird Star Fox game that just came out earlier. And probably those games are probably not bad themselves, but I don't really like this realistic approach. I honestly much prefer a more cartoony, I don't know. I guess we'll never get a Spider-Verse looking like game, but we have in multiple occasions, but we've never gotten it to the same extent level, you know? But I don't mind this look. I don't mind this look, but you look much better at Mario plus Rabbids. And I do want to make it clear though, these type of games do exist. We do have games, example like that new Mega Man game, Mario Wonder, Sonic Superstars. Okay, not really, but we do have these type of 2D games that have a 3D-ish start style to it, but still follows a 2D adjacent thing. I think Rayman Legends should have fallen under that belt instead of trying to be more realistic. But I will admit, the visuals do take a lesser toll on you. They told down on Barba's breast. Okay, that's kind of weird. Like, man, what are you trying to do? This is like the Sega bullshit. Why do companies not want us to goon anymore? There also are more noticeable redesigns. They also changed Rayman's shoes. I don't like this. They should just go back to his Mario plus Rabbids shoes. But yet again, I'm making more excuses. This is a Rayman Legends remake. Like a deep remake though. Like I'm talking Final Fantasy levels of remakes. I do think Glowbox redesign honestly looks like it honestly looks pretty good. Tinsy's redesign is something. I don't like when they have the full-on teeth though. It kind of looks fucking terrifying. One redesign I actually did end up enjoying though was Polykiss's redesign. He actually looks more like Polykiss. Well, he doesn't look like Polykiss, but he looks less like a Glowbox ripoff. I always thought these two, Glowbox and Polykiss, were connected by the way they were colored and all that, but they're not. So visually, I think this game actually compares to Rayman Legends, but not on too much of a level. I still prefer the designs of Rayman Legends. I also think they should have gone over that. Or Mario plus Rabbids was a better example, but it's alright. I think I could get used to the designs. They're not like obviously terrible through and through, but like, why did you just stick to the other design? Holy crap. Though I think that what matters most of the game is not the way it looks, but the gameplay itself. But also the way the game looks. The backgrounds don't look that bad either. I didn't mention that too, but the backgrounds don't look that bad. But overall, yeah, I don't think the game is that bad. But I think we need to talk about more of the game itself. The game is still in development, obviously, so I can't just judge these things out of the blue. But judging by what they have so far, there's a lot of promise with what they're bringing up. This game comes out September 1st, by the way, but I do think what they're bringing honestly shows a lot of promise, honestly. There are new gameplay features like riding the dragon thanks to these weird cookies they have. And the levels honestly seem to be the same literally, and there's new levels. Look at this, like a German level. Oh my goodness. Gameplay wise, I thought this was just going to be Rayman Legends again, though they do bring another Origins thing, an enhanced version of Rayman Origins, which means, yeah, no back to Origin. Yeah, that kind of fucking sucks. Judging by the looks of the game, though, I don't think there is any new music, though, but they do play some newer music, and that's for the newer levels, too, but I think for the standard levels, there is no music, but to be fair, if it ain't broke, honestly, don't fix it, because you don't need to fix anything that honestly isn't broke, though. There also does seem to be more background details and all that etc stuff, but with these Dragon Rank levels, I have one question. Where the fuck is Bazit? They honestly could have had Bazit there, but they didn't have Bazit for some reason. No, you can't do that. But I don't care, the dragons are kind of cool. Besides, you get these weird cookies that are in the shape of Murphy. Are they implying that they want to eat Murphy? Damn, that's kind of fucking brutal. You have this new weird ventilation level, and this ventilation level honestly really interests me because I want to know more what it is, but all I know is this 3 second and this single screenshot of what is to come, but I'm honestly excited for whatever they're going to do. There's more newer stuff, but I don't have enough information to go by of it, but what I do want to know is why they kind of changed the upload. I kind of preferred the whole painting aesthetic. The painting aesthetic I kind of felt like was kind of the charm of like Rayman Legends. It was like a painting, but you could move into it. I'm really not a fan of this portal idea, and I think the painting works very much better for travel, honestly. So gameplay wise, I feel like I'm obviously gonna love what this game is going to have to offer. It basically has 2.5D segments as well, so I think obviously what this game is going to have is just gonna be Rayman Legends again, but with a little more polish and detail added in it. I feel like I'm just gonna like this gameplay, and I feel like everyone else will. What I'm not going to like are some of these new features. There is this new villain and we don't know much about him, but all we know is that he exists in the land of the living dead, which was already a thing in Rayman Legends, but it was kind of just a quest to get the other princesses. But I can tell right off the bat that this villain obviously has some type of connection to Mr. Dark. They haven't hinted on it or anything yet, but I do feel like that's what they're obviously going at against, well, how much stuff is featured and how it kind of literally looks like Mr. Dark himself. They even hide his face the same way. I wouldn't mind that though. There was this one time for Rayman Mini where we saw Mr. Dark, but ever since the first game, oh yeah, also the Game Boy game, we kind of never ever saw Mr. Dark ever again, and I feel like that's what they're hinting to. Oh yeah, he also did get Shadow dropped in Mario plus Rabbids in the DLC, but that's kind of it as well. Also, we can obviously tell right off the bat that this guy is not at least the magician. So we can obviously not tell he's all right off the bat the magician because we already see the magician in other previous footages though. So we can obviously tell that this villain is basically someone else. It could even be like some missing Rayman character we haven't known in a long time. It could be fucking Detective Grub. But as much as I'm excited for all the stuff they want to have, I think the worst feature though is going to be right here. If that's actually fucking Batilda, I'm going to lose my shit. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is it? Get this out of my face! I don't know what they were going for. Were they trying to go for like the Lita Fairy look? It genuinely looks awful, and I think it's probably one of the worst redesigns they ever do if this actually is who we think it is. But I am hoping that this is actually not the case. Why is it human? I don't like this idea. And what's worse is that they already have the Barbara skin, so I don't understand what's the idea of just basically adding this with this on top of it. It honestly sucks. It's probably the worst idea that this game honestly has. There's obviously more shit I just wanted to get into. There's obviously like an entire map, and there's all this other shit too, but like we don't know and we don't have enough information. At least we don't. There are people who've done gameplay footage, and honestly they have a lot more footage than I honestly have. Oh yeah, I do want to mention that. By the way, what the fuck is going on? Why is everyone getting everything? Everything is happening too fast, and this game comes out October 1st. Yeah, everything is already getting leaked. Also, if you check in the map, you won't notice this, but apparently, as you can see right here, there are locations, the other Rayman games, which, oh, you already sold me with that shit, honestly. This is basically another Rayman. Speaking of Rayman 4, I should get into the voice acting. Obviously, you have the newer voice actors too, and honestly, they actually made me honestly fucking like Barbara and Glowbox and everyone else. Honestly, everyone else has a good voice acting. Honestly, I'm not sure about the Tinsies talking, but I don't honestly care anyways. But what I do want to talk about is freaking they have Billy West back as Murphy again, and it just sounds like Rayman. It's honestly so peak. Also, have you heard some of Rayman's lines? He has this stupid quips that sound like he's a freaking Mario movie at quotes. I like it though because I feel like that was what Rayman's personality always was. He was kind of this dude who was just extremely nice but makes like these weird quips. I feel like that should be his personality and only he should do that. It's honestly really good.
4 against 1! You don't stand a chance! Maybe he stands a little bit of a chance.
And the best part is that the state of play honestly fucking sucked. They showed nothing other than Wolverine and this kind of cool other Marvel Rivals game, but that was basically it, honestly. And honestly, I don't care less. They showed like 20 minutes of like God of War Ragnarok or whatever the God of War game is called, and I don't care, honestly. That's all that matters. We got Rayman, that's all that matters. Okay, I'm out of here. I'm gonna make another video and another video is coming soon, so whatever.